Good evening, everybody. And we've had an absence of last week, and we've had a really busy weekend, certainly with the football side of things, a couple of us, so which we'll be talking about. I'm just going to quickly run over to the. So we were supposed to be having a chat on Bobby. He does a really excellent podcast where he just simply slates modern football, he's an Arsenal supporter that now supports Dagenham and Redbridge, and was obviously at the game and he can't get on. He can't make it. That's a real shame. That would have been a good one to have on, and certainly got some feedback from Friday night's game with Dagenham beating Wimbledon. But anyway, before we get on to the FA Cup and the Premier League and all the other non-league games and whatever, let's just see how our boys are doing. So, Nigel, how are you and how you been?
Yeah, I've been all right, mate. I had a bit of a sore throat, as I told you, this week. But, it's been a good week. I had a good weekend at the Grapes, DJing there. And I thought I'd go for the retro wallpaper look like Daz has.
I'm surprised Darren's not put a sheet up now that covers that bit of wall that,
So
I got to be honest, many years ago, I had the similar wallpaper, but it was the brown with the lighter colours.
Years ago.
Many years ago, it's probably 1960. No, sorry, mate. We do rip you on that, don't we? But never mind. You stand firm by your wallpaper. That's good. Darren, how have you been? I know you've been a busy boy.
Well, I was all right until the last 20 seconds when you ripped me apart over this behind me. But in all seriousness, pretty good, mate. Yeah. I've had a few days off work, holiday-wise. Been out. If I'm not watching football, I've been to the grounds and knocking about. But you know all about that, Gaz.
Yes, we do. We'll talk about that as well, because that's a really interesting scenario. Did you read the piece I've done on it? Have you?
Yeah, I loved it, mate. I thought it was brilliant.
Cool. Okay, right. So where do we begin? Firstly, let's begin by telling everyone you can get involved. It's not just about us; it's about you guys and girls as well. Jump on, put a comment on whatever platform you are watching us from, and hopefully. I say hopefully because technology, I don't trust it. It should pop up on our screen and we can share that comment, or we can discuss that comment. If you've got anything you wish us to discuss, fire it on to us. We will do a little bit of a Q&A, a little bit at the end if anyone wants to ask any questions. But let's start with the FA Cup, because that is the prize possession in my world of football. It's been a really interesting weekend. Obviously, been some great games today, and we've got two non-league clubs going into the hat. Dagenham and Redbridge after beating Wimbledon, and Tamworth after winning, I think it was on penalties, that one, beating Burton Albion. But we've seen a number of non-league clubs really putting some great performances today and yesterday. Any thoughts on any of the FA Cup games that you may have seen, watched, or guys, Nige?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not really seeing many of the games. I started watching Match of the Day, but obviously I only got halfway through that.
I told everyone to press record, mate.
Yeah, I did see the Reading match though.
What a game!
Yeah, what a great game.
Darren's got his Arbor hat on. I mean, they done really well, didn't they? I mean, what was it, 5-3?
Yeah, ended up 5-3, didn't it? To getting back to the non-league, obviously it started on Friday. Gainsborough Trinity, weren't they? They were on the box, and they held their own in the game. They didn't disgrace themselves for losing 1-0 to Harrogate. And all through the weekend, the non-league has done the non-pro game proud. None more so than Harbour today. They gave Reading pretty much a big scare, didn't they, to be honest with you? And they probably would have fancied their chances against 10 men, playing the extra time. But I guess the professional fitness told in the end, didn't it, really, with the Reading boys? And fair play to them. But Harbour, fantastic. They put that little club on the map. Everyone's heard of them now, which is great news.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to say, anyone out there, could you just drop us a message, because this is unusual. We're not getting any messages coming through. So if you don't mind, someone just say hello, just so I know the messaging system is working, so we can get you all involved.
I think the Tamworth result's got to be one of the big ones, isn't it? Against
Yeah,
Burton.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Tamworth,
a
away
major.
from home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a derby that don't normally happen.
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
the
That's
result
a
away from home.
derby, isn't it? Yeah,
Could have been on
yeah.
TV
So,
that way. That could have been selected for TV. You know what I mean? Obviously, perhaps because Tamworth were on the box in their previous round, weren't they, against Huddersfield? That might have stopped that.
yes, they were. Yeah.
In saying that, Kettering were on TV in the last round, and they were on it again today, weren't they? But yeah, they done brilliantly, didn't they? As you were saying, Tamworth, great
They
result.
just run out of steam at the end there. I thought they played really, really well. Again, another good advert for non-league football, as we've seen a few today. Hello, boys. This is Graham from Reading. Were you at the game today, Graham? That's a question I guess I want to ask you straight away. Were you at the game? Let us know if you were. But yeah, one little thing you showed me, Darren, was obviously it was what's his Sharp, wasn't it?
Sharp.
Yeah, who got both goals for Doncaster Rovers, and there's a bit of rivalry that most people probably don't even realise, but there's a bit of rivalry, and it is a bit
Big
of rivalry.
understatement. A big rivalry.
Well, yeah, bitter. It's bitter. A bitter rivalry. A lot of people know between Rushden and Diamonds and Kettering, you know, as good a derby as any. And obviously, he used to play for Rushden and Diamonds, didn't he? And you spotted when he got his goal, he did the Diamonds sign with his hands.
Yeah,
rather cheeky.
and the Rushden and Diamonds Twitter page has been full of that, promoting that. You know, once a diamond, always a diamond. Yeah, all goes by saying friendly banter, but it was like it was interesting viewing, watching what Rushden and Diamonds were putting out on their Twitter and the responses from the Kettering fans.
Oh yeah.
It was good reading. It was.
Yeah, cool. But look, let's just clarify some of the other FA Cup fixtures that obviously took place. So obviously yesterday we had a number of games, not just non-league, obviously. Wealdstone getting knocked out by Wycombe Wanderers. Wycombe Wanderers having a great season, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Matty
no,
Williams,
I was. This is Graham from Reading. No, I was watching my son at Grassroots. Brilliant. I believe there was unrest amongst fans regarding ticket prices. Yeah, I think there is general unrest at Reading anyway, isn't there? They're not happy. Understandably, they're not happy, and I don't know if there was any protests planned today.
I think it was 15 quid, the price for the ticket.
How much?
15.
15.
So if you're no disrespect to Harbour, but if you're a Reading fan and you're playing a team, you know, step-free football, you'd probably think, or maybe a tenner. You know, that's nothing. That's nothing.
15. No, I don't think 15 quid. 15 quid. Surely they've not moaned at that, have they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Kettering up their prices to 20 quid. So I guess they had more room to have a pot than Reading fans.
Yeah.
But, look, let's just quickly run through the FA Cup. Accrington Stanley 2 going through on penalties against Swindon. Bristol Rovers getting a great result at Barnsley. It was a good result for Bristol Rovers, actually. That was a penalties win again. Cambridge United going out to Wigan 2-1. Crawley Lincoln 4-3 goal fest. That was 4-3 to Lincoln. Exeter winning 2-0 against Chesterfield. Now, let's talk this one, because there's an amazing piece in this one. So, obviously, it looked very much like Oldham were going to beat Leyton Orient. And what happened? The goalkeeper pops up and gets a sublime-headed goal in the last minute, bring it into extra time, and obviously then Orient going on to win 2-1. Did you see that header and all? It was cracking.
Lovely little flick.
Yeah, did you see it, Nige? No?
No, I was working last time, weren't
Yeah, the goalkeeper's gone up last minute, as they do, and wow, just brilliant. Peterborough United getting a 4-3 win against Notts County. So I'll get through these quick, guys, but here's the FA Cup, so I want to cover it. Salford 2-0 against Cheltenham. Stevenage losing at home to Mansfield 1-0. Stockport County are having a blinding season, beating one of your local clubs there, Darren, Brackley Town, 3-1. Anything from that one that...
Well, by all accounts, Stockport raced into a 2-0 lead very early doors, comfortable at half time. Brackley got the goal back through an own goal, and apparently they laid siege to Stockport, and by all accounts had a bit of a dubious goal disallowed, and then Stockport added a third late on. Deserved win overall for Stockport, but Brackley, can definitely feel proud of their performance in the season.
Poor Nigel's suffering, isn't he? We're going to make it as quick as we can tonight, folks, actually, because it has been a busy weekend and I've got to be up at 4:30. Walsall losing at home 4-0 to Charlton, and obviously the Wimbledon going down 2-1 at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. Today's fixtures, obviously you mentioned already the Harrogate Gainsborough game on Friday night, with Harrogate going through there. FA Cup today, obviously we've just been talking about Kettering losing at home 2-1 at Doncaster Rovers, Blackpool losing 2-1 at home to Birmingham City. Obviously, as we've already said, Tamworth getting a great result there. Tamworth getting a 4-3 win on penalties there. 5-3 as we've already discussed at Reading. And Solihull Moors going down in last year's replay of the National League playoff final. Bromley coming out on top 2-1. FA Cup. So we look forward now to Monday night and the draw for the third round. It'll be interesting. 2 non-league clubs left in. That's the FA Cup. And it has been a great FA Cup for the little clubs. And it means the world to them and their fans. The romance is still there. So let's try and cheer Nigel up a little bit. Let's talk about the Premier League. Come on, Man City. Come on, Nigel. They've blown it. Do you think that I can't see how they can win the league this year now?
No,
they've blown it.
Yeah, that's unknown territory for them, really, isn't it?
I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think.
I just think that they've had a brilliant squad of players.
Yes,
I think a lot of the squad that are winning them trophies are sort of getting to the back end of their careers. So I think he's sort of more or less got to get some fresh blood in and start again, really. I think.
Well, yeah, it sounds like they're going to go through a transition, which in turn opens everything up for other clubs. Now, Liverpool, they are looking stronger now than what they have for a long time. They look like they're going to do very, very well.
Tell you what, you can't rule out Chelsea.
They're 9 points clear at the moment, Liverpool.
Yeah, you can't rule out Chelsea at the moment. They're on a bit of a run.
No, someone else said that. I mean, look, you've got Brighton above Man City. This is a weird discussion, really. Isn't it?
Brighton was second place before these games took place.
Yeah, they're. I mean, so Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Obviously, Liverpool got a 9-point gap at the moment. Obviously, Arsenal, Chelsea sharing 25 points apiece. Then City, Brighton with 23. Forest sitting behind that with 22. Man United down at 9th with 19. And Newcastle not having a great time either. Down 11th. Oh, mind you, same as Man United. They're all on 19 around there, aren't they? It's quite tight. Come on then. Who's going to win the league then?
Brighton. No, you know what? Everyone's talking about all the big clubs, though, and Brighton are just hovering there unnoticed, aren't they? But they're right up there. And I think everybody thought that about Leicester when they won the league. So
I suppose if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Liverpool.
You've got to, haven't you?
You've got to. With 9-point gap already.
Yeah.
That's 3 games.
Yeah. As we sit today, you'd be a fool to say anyone other than Liverpool, because the start they've had, and they're a good side anyway. It's not like they've come from nowhere. They had a good season last season until they fell away at the death, didn't they? But you give Liverpool a 9-point lead at this stage of the season from Chelsea and Arsenal. I think it'd be a foolish man to bet against them this moment.
I'd be more worried if they had a 9-point lead with about 4 games to go. I think there's still a lot of the season to go yet. And
there is.
City have lost 5 games in a row. There's nothing stopping Chelsea doing that or Liverpool doing that. Nobody thought City would do that, but it's happened. So there's a long way to go yet.
With City being 11 points behind, so they've been absolutely abysmal, haven't they? And we've just been talking up Chelsea. And City are only 2 points behind Chelsea.
Yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you can make an argument for Chelsea and Arsenal to win the league, surely you can still make an argument for City to.
Oh yeah, they're not out of it. It's just it's whether Liverpool lose games now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't rule any of them out, but I still think you'd be a fool to back against Liverpool right at this moment. But it could change next week. It could be a 6-point gap, couldn't it? And in 2 weeks' time, it could be 3 points. But then you adjust your thinking, didn't you, accordingly?
Yeah. Damo's saying there, good evening, Damo. Good evening, Sonia, as well. People do get involved.
I'll leave you for a minute, lads.
Comments and get involved. It's all about everybody, not just us. Could go right to the wire. I think I'm with you, Darren. Yeah, that's a big lead already opening up for Liverpool there. Yeah. Man City definitely, I think, are out of sorts, 11 points. But it is early in the season, and maybe, yes, we are being a little bit premature.
You know what, Gaz? I always look at it this way. If you had your last pound for survival to put it on someone,
who would it be?
Put it on? Exactly.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, so let's have a look quickly. Let's run through. We'll get ourselves down to the Premier League Championship. So, as always, it really is a league that you never know what's going on. 1 minute you've got Leeds and Sunderland in the top 2. Now you've got Sheffield United and Burnley in the top 2. It's like, wow, it's always an exciting league, though, isn't it? The Championship, you can't deny it.
We know that more than anyone else, don't we, Gaz?
Yeah, and it's tight. But I mean, I think you are looking at the end of the day, the sides that are going to be there or thereabouts, definitely going to be Sheffield United, Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland, possibly Middlesbrough. West Brom, never count them out either. Yeah, but your boys ain't doing too well, are they?
Not doing too well, but we finally picked up our second win of the season midweek at Cardiff.
Yeah.
And a very honourable 0-0 draw at your mob yesterday, Watford.
Yeah.
So, I think, I still got full backing of the manager.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Darren, looking at this, you're only 3 points behind Coventry in 16th place.
Yeah.
It's still really, really tight.
I'm confident that we'll avoid the drop. I'm confident we won't make the playoffs. Yeah, just think it'll be another normal QPR season, really, where we get a bit excited, flirting with playoffs, or get a bit tense, flirting with relegation. But I'm confident we'll be okay in the end.
Yeah, cool. Portsmouth, I was really pleased to see them get back into the Championship, but they're really finding that quite tough. And I think they need to pay their electricity bill as well, don't they? And what a sight to do that with, Millwall. I mean, of all teams to have your floodlights go down on, they choose Millwall. That's just balmy. There's a big history with them too as well. But yeah, Championship was exciting as ever. Nigel, we were just saying, you've got the top sides there, Sunderland, Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley. They're all going to be there or thereabouts, aren't they, at the end of the season, I think.
Watford are
in the playoffs.
They got to be beating sides like QPR.
Yeah.
No, they have. If they want to get
sides like QPR,
they're at the bottom, aren't they? I mean, you've got to be beating them sides. If you've got any chance of getting up to the next level and stay up in the next level, they've got to be beating sides like that. You know, to struggle against QPR, I know there was a lot of disgruntled Watford fans after that match.
I think,
As there were Derby fans.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on paper, I would imagine Watford are one of the lesser sides in the top half of that table, aren't they? On paper,
yeah. I mean, you got when I played for Watford and we finished second to Liverpool in that first season in Division 1. The only reason we never won that league was because we didn't win the away games that Liverpool won.
yeah.
But what we did win was we won virtually every home game that we played, and that's the consistency you've got. So that's why I'm saying when Watford are playing a team like QPR at the bottom of the league, they're the games that you should be winning. There's no excuse really.
Yeah, and they have got an amazing home record, Watford, aren't they? Under Tom Cleverley, and really, and I'm pleased. I like Tom Cleverley, so I'm quite pleased to see he's doing well. People, please get involved. Drop us anything you want to say about any of this weekend's games. Have you been to whatever you want to discuss? Okay, so dropping down a little bit, obviously. With it being FA Cup weekend, very little going on in the League 1 and 2. Obviously, we've covered off the FA Cup. Anything outstanding, you guys? Any other results you want to bring up? Nigel, did you want to bring up the women's game?
No, I don't want to talk about
No,
that.
you don't want to talk about the England USA game, no?
I thought I was watching a slow motion match.
Oh, brother. Honestly. Right. Okay. So, like I say, people, we are going to keep it pretty tight tonight. We've been really busy this weekend. So let's discuss a little bit about what we've done this weekend. So, me and Darren on Friday, we went up to Kettering Town to get a feel for what is going on behind the scenes for a non-league club to lay on an event such as a live TV FA Cup tie. Just absolutely mind-blowing, wasn't it, Darren?
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? You know, literally as soon as we arrived, we saw volunteers sweeping up leaves outside, didn't they? We go into we don't even go into the ground. We see them volunteers putting up CCTV, go into the ground. You've got the volunteers putting up advertising boards, all kinds of things. Incredible. It's the sort of thing that nobody sees, does it? You know, you've got all the sparkle of the actual event itself, but the hard work, the hundreds of hours, thousands of hours it takes from volunteers to put an event on like that, it's just like amazing. Non-league's nothing without its volunteers, is it?
No, there is check out our website. I've done a piece on this, and there's pictures and whatnot. One thing that really blew me away was just with the BBC, the electronic advertising boards going up, the amount of infrastructure that they had to put up just to film this, because obviously Kettring's ground wouldn't have the infrastructure of a league ground for the TV. The amount of work, I mean, just the amount of people involved. There was forklifts, there was tractors, there were additional toilets being delivered, CCTV being in. It was mental for 90 minutes football.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. If anyone ever gets a chance, just not this season now, I suspect, unless Tamworth get a. They've already had a home game in the Cup, so presumably they went through it. Dagenham and Redbridge are obviously a bit more geared up for live TV because of being in the league for a few years. But yeah, if anyone ever gets a chance, just go along and just see what it's mad. But the volunteers who were sweeping the leaves up, painting, putting boards up, fair play. Every club's got them. Every club's got a volunteer. And they really do need a big pat on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Darren, you popped along to football yesterday, didn't you, Amersham Town?
Yeah, I went to Combine Counties Premier Division North top of the table clash between Amersham Town and Egham Town. Now, there was 1 point separating them at the start of play. Amersham were top, and they'd drawn their previous league match against each other 2-2. So it was, I was really looking forward to this one, but it turned out to be, quite frankly, a horrible watch. One goal, a very spiteful, niggly game. Felt like the teams were more intent on trying to get each other sent off, to get the upper edge over that way, as opposed to playing football itself. Yeah, it wasn't. I enjoyed midday there. There were some nice people from both sides, but there was a lot of unsavoury stuff going on the pitch, and the referee and his officials did really well not to send anybody off. They just about kept the lid on proceedings, I'd say. But not a game I'm in a hurry to revisit. However, in saying that, watch my vlog on the match so you can see what I mean. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Gaz, but
I haven't, mate.
Have you ever seen Neymar when he does all these rolling overs and stuff like that? It got bettered yesterday by a player right in front of me. He got a sort of like a push, and then he went down about 4 rolls, and then a couple of rolls back. Oh my God, really? But he wasn't the only one, playing up yesterday. Quite a few other players were, to be fair.
Guys, I've got to disappear for a minute.
Yeah, come here.
Make sure you shut the door.
So right, okay. So listen, yesterday I went along to the grand opening of Cambridge City's brand new stadium. A great good news story for non-league football. Fantastic stadium. I'm thinking the time it's going to take me to piece this all together, and with work and everything, probably Wednesday I will be releasing a full coverage of the day. There is a bit up on our thing already. I did a pre-video and just give people a bit of a taster of the ground. And a fantastic ground. They've been homeless for 11 years. And honestly, the ground is spectacular. Obviously, in mind with trying to get back into step 2, I was talking to the vice chairman, and he said, this, it's been a heartache getting there. They've had legal battles and everything. The stadium's amazing. Bit out in the middle of nowhere. It's at the arse end of a sort of industrial estate, but it's a magnificent place. And obviously, but there's not really near it. It's not like, but then most stadiums now are not in town, and like this one, it's pretty much going in keeping with where new stadiums locate, really. So you're not going to find a pub anywhere near it, to be fair, but then get to the ground and have a beer there. It was it's a shell at the moment because they're not got the interiors and all that done. So they're obviously using port cabins for a lot of their stuff. But they needed to get the stadium opened up to get the revenue in. It's a massive project. Clearly, they've got some financial backing there because it's a multi-million-pound project. And they're currently in the Isthmian League North, is it? North. So they got a lot of ambition, but keep an eye out for that, folks, because honestly, it's a terrific stadium and it's a great good news piece of football. Great piece of news for football when you see clubs going forward and not having to go backwards.
Well, yeah, Cambridge City, like you alluded to, I think they've been away from Cambridge for like 11 years or something.
11 years. They were playing at Histon and for a short time at St Ives as well.
Yeah, Cambridge here, but not in Cambridge itself. And massive kudos for the club from going from pretty much nothing to getting this shiny, spanking new ground. And hopefully that will give teams like Aylesbury United, who don't play in their own town, a bit of hope that can happen to them one day.
Well, to be fair though, they've not moved back into Cambridge either. They're actually, the new stadium is in Sawston, is it? Sawston, something like that.
Okay.
So it's sort of very much south
suburb
of Cambridge.
Right.
It's not in Cambridge.
Okay.
but you know, the facilities, there's plenty of parking. If you're going to go along, you know, even though the interiors are still being developed, the facilities that they've put in place, temporary facilities, are brilliant. They've done such a good job. There's no two ways about it. Don't expect to get out of the car park quick. One way in, one way out, like a lot of grounds now. And but yeah, I would recommend people to go along and see a great little stadium. Yeah, and I had a bumper crowd, 1,459.
That's brilliant.
They lost 2-1 to Tilbury. And I've got to say, big shout out to the Tilbury fans that were there. Not in huge numbers, but boy, oh boy, did they make some noise. I've got to tip me out to the Tilbury fans for making a great atmosphere, actually. You know, it was really good. And so, yeah, well done, the Tilbury fans, for the atmosphere that they helped create as well. But yeah, fantastic day for Cambridge City. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Somewhere I'd like to visit, actually. Although, like you say, one way in, one way out. Sounds like the cul-de-sac, a bit like Wycombe Wanderers.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they didn't have any facilities to keep the fans behind, like no club shops or the
I mean, everything was temporary. You know, they had a temporary clubhouse there, but not one that would really keep people at the ground. But honestly, once it's done, that it's going to be It's going to be amazing.
I mean,
it really is an unbelievable stadium. You know, there'll be executive boxes, everything. It's just really, and you know, the facilities will be so. To be fair, when I have to praise the temporary facilities that they brought in, the food outlets were magnificent. I never had any, but I see and heard people comment about how wonderful the food was. You know, and the toilet facilities that they brought in, because they haven't got their toilet blocks yet. So, but they brought in these, not just any old.
Keep Kelly away from there, then.
No, far from it. Not Portaloos, mate. They brought in proper things that these temporary toilets that are flushable toilets and everything.
Yeah.
They you know, they've not. They've obviously got a bit of back in there, and let's hope that this is the beginning of a great journey for the club and their supporters.
Onwards and upwards, mate. Onwards and upwards.
I just got to give a big shout out, and you'll see it when you see. Check out the article when I do it on our website, which is running along the bottom there. Yeah, check it out. And when I do it, probably Wednesday now, by the time I piece it all together, and some highlights of the game there as well. But yeah, I've got to give a shout out to a fella called Andy, a lifelong supporter, and he was helping. Bless him, mucking out, you know, making sure the toilets kept clean, everything. Great guy. And I did an interview with him, and my audio weren't working, and it was like, I did this great interview, and there's no audio. So I called him back, did it again, and it didn't work again. I couldn't, bless him, I couldn't tie him down after that. So, but he'll get a mention through the article. You know, but yeah, right then. So, guys, anything else you'd like to bring up about anything that's going on in the football world? I'm a bit lost today.
There's something I quickly read today, just before I came on air. It was in an Italian Serie A game, and a player collapsed on the pitch, a Fiorentina versus Inter Milan.
Right.
A 22-year-old. I think it was his name escapes me, but they abandoned the match. It sounded shades of Christian Eriksen or whatever. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery. But yeah, not good to hear.
Nige,
what?
You got anything? Anything that you got?
Oh no,
we're having a bad show today because I'm so not prepared because we've been so busy doing like live stuff and that. I've not prepared, and I'm a bit out the loop as well, actually. So, people, help us! Come on, give us some.
I've got a question for Kelly. He was talking about when Watford came runners up to Liverpool, and he was talking about the fact that you didn't win enough away games. What part of the season did you think we are in a title challenge here? And what part of the season did you think slipping away now.
Well, it went right to the end, virtually. I mean, we had to beat Liverpool last game of the season, I think it was, and to leapfrog into the runners-up position over Man United.
Oh, okay.
But we beat Man United by 5 goals a few weeks before that, so we was winning our games that we should have won. We was picking up the games away from home that we knew we had a chance of winning. It was just like when we was going to the Liverpools and the Man Uniteds, we weren't getting results against them.
Yeah.
So that was probably the difference. Whereas, like Liverpool could probably go to Man United expecting to win the same way round, the other way round.
Yeah.
But we just had a belief in us, and we all played together, and we weren't worried about going to Liverpool and the Man United and stuff like that. It was all an adventure for us, it was a new adventure. So it was. I don't think any of us were expecting to finish runners up in that season, but
no,
it got us into Europe, and that was another chapter of the Watford story. So it was a really special time in the 5 years that the FA Cup final, runners up in the title, and getting into Europe, and the club was growing as a club. The fans were all together, the football team were all together. It was one big family club, but it's just one big business club now.
At the start of it, Callie, obviously the season before, I believe you came runners-up to Luton to go up, right?
Yeah.
So was there a period when you're playing for Watford where you thought, actually, it probably would have been in the second division with decent, and that belief and confidence started from that exact moment and took you all the way to Europe? Was there a particular time in the season in that second division you thought, I
don't really think so. I mean, we had a young side, and sort of Barnsley turned into the player he is, and I was a different player at Barnsley, but I was good at my position. We all had jobs to do in the team. When we came off the pitch, Taylor used to say to me and John, when you come off, you've got to count how many crosses you made and how many shots you had in goal. And that decides whether you had a good game or not. So we all had targets to hit. And that's the way the team was brought up, even down to the reserves. The reserve team played the same way. We'd even have a practice match on a Friday, full-scale practice match on a Friday. First team versus the reserves, shin pads on and everything. And if one of us got injured, the reserves player would come into the side. So that's how it was at Watford. He wasn't frightened to have the tackles flying about on a Friday. Whereas when I went to Derby, we got wrapped up in cotton wool on a Friday. I mean, we went to the ground to get weighed. We got weighed every Friday at Derby. So we'd be at the ground for about 9 o'clock. We go up to Rainsway training ground. We'll do a quick warm up. We'll do 10-minute each side, 5-a-side game. Peter Shilton would train on his own because Arthur was really superstitious about him getting injured the day before match. So he'd do his own little routine, and we'd be back in the baths at 11 o'clock. So we'd do a quick hour, and that was it. Whereas with Taylor on a Friday, we could have a practice match or anything.
Flying in the tackles on a practice match, obviously.
Yeah, we had when George Riley joined the club, we had a full-scale practice match on the pitch. I think we showed behind closed doors, and George was just signed for us, and he went down under a tackle, and nobody knew where the gaffer was. The next thing, all you could hear coming out of the loudspeaker system around the ground was, "Get up, you're not injured." And he missed the game. He missed the game Saturday. So, but yeah, it was
mad.
That's
funny.
Mad.
So I don't think it's just us that are not very well prepared for tonight's show. No one's really. We're not getting much interaction of you guys and girls out there tonight. Anything you'd like us to bring up? I'm going to chuck a bit of controversy. We were talking about this just before going back to the FA Cup. Obviously, this season is, I guess, the first time we're seeing the true impact of not having the replays. And I think we were discussing before we went live on the show that it's probably a good thing that they get a game over and done with and everything else. However, we know just from today alone that Reading and Kettering would have had replays. Reading and Harbour. Harbour could have took Reading back to their ground, which would have been fantastic for them. And especially they got the 3G pitch, and Kettering would have had a great trip up to tidy stadium up there at Doncaster as well. So we know there's a couple of other clubs in the previous round would have had some. So as much as I think I agree with both of you, because you sort of both said you'd rather see the games getting over and done with, I just feel that there are a number of clubs that have missed out on a reasonable amount of money because of this ruling. And I think for me, I would agree with both you. You can have your say in a minute, both, yeah, but I would agree with your sentiments. However, what I feel is the fact that these top clubs made this decision without any consultation with lower clubs or anything like that. And yeah, a number of non-league clubs this season have lost out on a payday. Two of them today. So they've lost out on a payday, and they had no part in this decision process because the top club's arrogance, in my view. And again, there's been no compensation for the loss of this revenue. So whilst I agree with your sentiment, guys, and you can have your say now, like I say, for me, just the arrogance of these top sides, not even including these people on discussion, and the fact that it's quite clear this season a number of clubs have missed out on paydays. And obviously, not a bat of an eyelid to say, well, hang on a minute, these clubs might be a whole season that they could survive on the basis of that payday. So that's my view. Chaps, have your say. Anyone else out there have your say as well, please?
It's one of them. It's one of them where it's probably going to hurt more the fact that when they get into the third round, if they draw a big club and they do manage to get a draw, that's when the big payday comes in, isn't it, really? So I think it's more sort of, it hurts them more when they get to that stage of the cup. But
and I would imagine that would hurt possibly League Two and some League One clubs as well that will miss out on big paydays, because the likes of Cambridge United, going up to replay, was it Newcastle or Man United, somewhere like that? I mean, so I think it's not just non-league clubs that will suffer. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so again, it's the money side of things just taken over, isn't it? It's can't be bothered to play a replay. Can't be not at that stage of the season, and we've got too many games coming up, and it's just too many games, and the big clubs don't want to play in what they call the meaningless games. I mean, half of them, if half these teams, if they draw one of the non-league sides in the cup, will just put a reserve side out anyway. So it's just been one big turnaround in it in the last 10, 20 years. Everything's just
and I think
money's dominated it.
Yeah, I think us older generation people, we find it harder to accept, don't we? And like a lot of younger generation supporters now, it's normal, and it'll become more and more normal as we sort of less of us around, But I don't accept the way football's gone. I don't agree with it, don't like it, along with many thousands of other people. But I'm guessing that's, although when you go to non-league games, Darren, I'm sure you'll bear me out with this, and lower league games, you are seeing a huge amount of youngsters at these games because it is more affordable and they can go along with their mates, whereas maybe they can't go to the bigger clubs. So
most definitely.
Yeah, but it does it does affect the supporters as well, because you draw a big side at home and you get a replay, and now the supporters are looking forward to maybe going to a ground that they never thought they'd go to see, to support their local team. And so it affects the supporters in one way, but financially it affects the clubs.
Yeah, funny thing is as well, when back in the 80s and that, and 90s, for me, when we were in the hat for the FA Cup, I didn't want to get a big side. I wanted to go to a non-league ground. I wanted to go somewhere different. I wanted a different experience. And some of the best cup games I've been to, I mean, we played at, we went to Scarborough one year. What a weekend away that was. It was a whole, and I've been, we had Woking a few years ago, actually, not so long back. I think the year we got the final, 2017, we beat Woking 2-0. It was just great experience. But you feel the buzz from like them as well.
Well, you know what though, supporters, we can be a funny lot. So if you're denied a replay against Manchester United in a one-off game, it goes to penalties, whatever, you'll be pretty pissed off. But don't forget, let's say Kettering were playing a step side 6 today, I don't think any of them would be pissed off about not having a replay to potentially look forward to. They probably want to get it done over and done with. Do you get what I mean? So it kind of all depends who you're playing. And
well, of course, I mean, it's all about the glamour and the dreams, isn't it? It's the FA Cup for the small clubs is all about. They're never going to get to the final. They know that. No, it's all about getting to the point in which they can play the bigger sides.
Their cup final starts in the third round, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Harbour today, I was sending you guys off air in their first match. They drew at home with Darlaston. I bet if you'd have taken a straw poll in the ground that day, nearly everyone would have wanted that settled in the 90 minutes or on the day. But bizarrely, in the early stages of the FA Cup, you do have replays. So probably it's flipped. Nobody wants replays in the early stages, but there are replays. And in the latter stages, we want replays, but there ain't replays. So it's all a bit sort of like up in the air. I still maintain, as a supporter, I would like to see it done on the day. However, if I was running a non-league club, I absolutely would want the replay.
Yeah, I think that's the glamour of the cup, isn't it? For these smaller clubs, they've got to go through the hard bit about having to play a replay in Darlington and whatever to achieve the point of getting through to the first round, which is a big thing, as we know. The first day, hi Nick, good evening, mate. He said hello, guys. And let me just take that one out. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I guess we've got to look at the FA Cup now. I mean, for us, we know past the fourth round and that, the FA Cup becomes quite dreary because the big clubs really, they don't view it like it used to be viewed. It's more of a, and the passion for the FA Cup isn't there because the passion isn't with these top elite clubs anymore for that cup. If anything, like you say, especially a lot of these foreign managers coming in, Klopp, the way they're not interested in playing in the FA Cup. They've demeaned it in their own way, these clubs, but it still lives on in the lower league and non-league clubs, and we've seen that, we've experienced it. It's just it's truly amazing. I thought the cup was dead, which was such a shame. I realise it isn't.
Lower league teams dream of playing a big game.
Of course they do.
Big team. A big team doesn't dream of playing a big team. So there's the difference, isn't it?
So fundamentally, what is the cup all about? In actual fact, nowadays, it is about this bit in the middle. It is about the bit in the middle. Yeah. That is the true what's the romance of the cup. That's what the FA Cup's about, the romance of it. And it's been lost, certainly at the top end. And maybe it's quite a war of attrition in the very first qualifying rounds as well. But that middle bit that is lost, and that's been demeaned by taking away the replays. You know, that has been demeaned by it, and that for me, above everything, we should not have demeaned that element of the cup, because
I think to the non-league players or lower division players, like, you know, when they play a side like Man U or Liverpool or one of the big clubs, you know, it means so much to the players because they don't know when they're going to go back to that ground again. Whereas with the Premier League players and teams, they know they're going to be back at Anfield next season.
Yeah,
They're going to be,
Exactly.
so like,
week.
yeah. So with
Exactly.
some of the players at League One, the League Two level, and you know, conference, they probably know in their own hearts that they're never going to get any higher than that, you know, standard of football. So that's when they draw the big clubs like that. That's the beauty of it all, and you know, that was the magic of it all, wasn't it? You know, coming up against players you probably worshipped on TV on Match of the Day and stuff like that.
But them days, Nigel, that feeling, that passion went through to every club, didn't it? It went, don't matter who they were, whether it was Man United, Liverpool, or whether it was Cleethorpes or Gainsborough. The passion was there. Money, like you say, has come into the game over the years, which you know, we can moan all day about it, but it's here now, and unfortunately, and the amount of money these players earn as well is money changes people. I don't care what anyone says. There are a few people it don't, but that sort of money changes people. And you know, it's the players, the managers, the clubs. It's not for them, is it? Not for them. Anyway, there we go. I'm running out of stuff because I'm totally all prepared, everybody. And guys, you've not really helped me by coming in and saying, "Oh, Gail, I'll talk about this, I'll talk about that," or any comments.
I've got to say, I saw something on Facebook today. All right, and, you know, just when Rooney thought he'd sort of steadied the ship, they lose 6-0, they lose 4 to Bristol, and somebody's put a video up, I think, of the Bristol City match. And the fans are singing, "She's getting shagged in the jungle."
Well,
I thought
the Watford fans,
I feel sorry for him because he gets so much stick.
And I believe that people are getting in trouble for it.
I think I'll watch the jungle. I think she's done really well in there. But Rooney, I mean, he's had to put up with some shit, and and I still believe he's a good manager. I just think I just think that all that's happened is he's played for the best managers and learnt off them. But taking that down to championship level or anything below that, you can't always get them players to play how you want them to play.
Yeah,
and that's the problem he's having at the moment.
Yeah,
and it'd be interesting to see how Frank Lampard gets on at Coventry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this, right? And people shouldn't be horrible and that. Fair enough, but let's live in the real world for a moment, yeah. And in the real world, people will take the mickey. When you go to a football match, they will take the mickey. It's been part of football since the day it started. They will rip into a player and everything else. Now, there are lines. There are definite lines, racism and stuff like that, that should never be stepped over. However, when I listen to what they've been through, even like we got some people commenting there, but quickly, even like watching the jungle, I've been watching, so I've actually enjoyed. I don't normally watch it. I've watched it this time. I've quite enjoyed it. I thought the bit with Barry McGuigan was quite upsetting, but hey ho. I must admit, I had a tear in my eye, bless him. I listened to what they've been sympathy for Colleen Rooney, what she's been through because of the stardom of her husband and all that. And all I think to myself is, I would rip your fucking hand off. And sorry, I've got to say this, for that banter being chucked at me if I was going to earn the sort of dough they're earning. I'd do it all day long. It might be a pain in the arse, but mate.
It's been part of football, isn't it? The songs that the fans come out with, it is football, isn't it? It's been from when I played, it's still going on now. And with social media, and like the jungle, Rooney's a big, famous footballer is missed in
you
there.
know, everyone feels sorry for all these rich people getting a bit of banter. They're
Yeah.
getting the banter because of who they are and the position in life that they've got to.
Yeah.
And it comes with the territory, you know. And I'm not on about just footballers here. I'm on about all of them. And they all like crying and sulking over it. And what about the poor people? Look, you know, everyday normal people go through a lot of shit as well, but they ain't got no money. And these people have got so much money that they don't need, you know, they can lock themselves away or rent a private island for a week, you know. Anyway, there you go. That's part of the people. I just got someone agreeing with me there. Money 100% changes people. I totally agree. Thank you, Nick. And what we got here, Graham, Coventry v Man United last season is what the cup is about. 100%. People's belief in the cup would have been revived had Coventry not been robbed of that winner from 3 down.
It was
You know
offside.
what? He's right, you know.
No,
You
it was
imagine if
offside.
they'd have got through.
Yeah, it was offside though. They weren't robbed. I know it was minuscule, but
Oh, yeah,
But-
we've had that discussion.
yeah, it was offside. As much as I wanted the Sky Blues to win, it was offside, wasn't it?
The thing is, though, Darren, had the idiot got his toenails cut the night before,
Yeah,
it would
I
have been onside.
I know. If buts and maybes. If buts and maybes.
I can't stand it when they're doing it. Like
if there was
you
no
say,
VAR, no VAR.
cut your toenails in future when you're playing in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might be offside.
Or just bloody keep yourself onside. That's the solution.
Yeah, but Darren, right? Let's just be honest about this, right? I hear what you're saying, but how on earth are you going to know when it is a toenail or a fag packet, whatever you want to call it? You know,
Yeah.
how you know, you in football, you know yourself, people have got to sort of get themselves into a position where they can get round the back of a defender. So they're going to push the barrier.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, before VAR, then you've got every opportunity, because you know if you're like, you look at that player, right, and you look at your player and you'll go, I'm onside. You know, but now you can't do that, can you? So maybe they've got to change how they think, because you can't look along the line and think I'm onside, because your big toenail might not be.
You know what, though, Gaz? Football's always been football, and there's always been offsides. And obviously, before the VAR, it was a bit, you know, like we've seen goals given that shouldn't have been. We've seen disallowed goals. I mean, today, funnily enough, Doncaster banged one in just before full time. Should have been a goal, but it was disallowed for offside. VAR would have shown he was about a yard or two onside.
Yeah.
It's one of them things. But we do like a good argument in a pub.
I get that when it, but like you say, I mean that it's become a video game, isn't it? That's the problem.
Oh yeah,
like,
I hate VAR.
I just can't. I just, you know, I'm never going to get my head around it. Never.
Yeah.
I know I'm never going to get my head around it. You know. But anyway, there we are. That's why we love non-league football.
Yes. Here.
Right. If we've got no further comments, I think we'll wrap it up. We've been on an hour. I really need to move along. I can only apologise to everyone, and also criticise everyone for not getting involved and helping me out. I wish you had done tonight. Normally we get loads of stuff. I've not had that coming in either. I do apologise for not being overly well prepared for tonight's show, but we wanted to carry on. The show must go on. But we have been rather busy. Join us next week. We'll have a guest on next week. We should have had a guest on this week. That's thrown me a little bit, because there would have been a lot to discuss with this fella, including he's trying to get football supporters together to do a charity. It's a really good charity, a mental health charity. A men's mental health charity, trying to get a load of football supporters together to go and climb Kilimanjaro or whatever mountain it is. And we were going to discuss all that as well. But don't worry, he'll probably be on with us next week. If not, we've got quite a few different guests lined up for the coming weeks. Christmas, I guess we'll have at least one Sunday off over Christmas. And soon we'll be releasing our new podcast, Non-League Focus. That should be just literally around the corner. I just need a bit more time to get that all sorted out. Graham, I think it's first time that your name's popped up there. So thanks for coming on. We're normally a lot better than this. But yeah, please join us next week, mate, and you'll see that we have a lot of fun. I normally have funny clips and videos, and just not been ready. I've let everyone down. Never mind, Nigel. Last words from you, my friend.
Yeah, it's been good catching up today. Actually,
Yeah, you're not well, bless you, are you? You can hear that.
No, I've had a cough all week, so. But I have had a good weekend DJing, and I'll be on my stream later on. So I like Sundays. I could chill out on a Sunday. But yeah, thanks, Son. When you was mentioning Amersham earlier on, that's where Sonia lives.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So they'll Sonia and Damo, they'll be on later on probably. But yeah, thanks for anybody else who listened in today. And,
yeah, we've had a few. They just didn't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
But Darren is going to definitely, let's pass it over to Darren, because he's obviously there trying to promote Harbour Town, who gallantly lost 5-3 at Reading today.
Yeah, I'm just putting it up, if nothing else, to just put it on their socials, and it might promote proper football as well.
Brilliant.
But yeah, they've done tremendously well. So what a club. You've been there, Gaz. You came there.
Yes, I've been there. Lovely.
It's a lovely club.
At the beginning of a journey, it feels with them.
Charismatic manager, brilliant co-chairman. Obviously, they had Sandro playing today, so it wasn't completely a publicity stunt, was it? And yeah, just a wonderful little club. The dream's over. Let's hope they can go onwards and upwards and not be so forgotten.
I watched the match, right? I tell you what, they matched Reading. They were a match for Reading. Like, there was you wouldn't have known which side was the lower side.
Yeah.
So fair play to them.
Fair play, Kelly. Yeah, they'll appreciate that comment. I know they will.
Nick's come on, and Nick was going to come on actually when I was going to do, but Nick, we will catch up. I know Nick's a Crawley Town supporter. And I know he met up when Dan went down to Crawley and did a thing. So, yeah, Nick's gutted. He's missed show. You ain't missed much, mate. So, not today, my friend. Not today. You have not missed much. But they are Graham from Reading. Fair play to Harbour from Reading. Thank you, Graham. Graham, please join us again. We love seeing new names come up. And, we'll be back again next Sunday at 6:30. So from me, well done to all the non-league clubs today and yesterday and Friday night. Well done to you all. And well done to Cambridge City with their brand new stadium yesterday. Fair play. Lovely, lovely stadium. A great good news story for football, that. As always, be safe. Have a lovely week. We're getting very near Christmas. And yeah. Join us next week. We will have guests on, and we'll be back to normal. Until then, I ain't ready again, as always. So nothing changes, really, does it? You know, it don't. Here we go. Right, that's it then, folks. Be safe. Be good.